if by wonderful you mean dry and tasteless, then yes, Beatrice, supper was indeed wonderful.
You're really testing my patience, Mr. March. There's only so much I can handle before I snap.
Oh yeah? What are you gonna do?
You don't want to know.
Well, you may not have enjoyed supper, Joel, but the mimes sure thought it was delicious.
I've never seen anyone eat so ferociously.
I told you they were hungry.
And it looks like they're wearing half the cake we had for dessert.
Oh, hey, Knight Crusader. It was very thoughtful of you to grace us with a new outfit for supper.
Knight Crusader? I am not the Knight Crusader anymore.
He looks like he's some sort of buffalo guy now.
I beg your pardon. I am no buffalo. I am Yak Man! 50% yak, 50% man, and 100% destroyer of all that dares to threaten the Himalayas.
I've never heard of him before.
Few have, but Yak Man knows you. For Yak Man knows all.
Say, Kit, where do you get your uniforms made?
I make them myself.
Oh, very nice. You know, Mickey, Max, and Murphy could sure use a new set of uniforms. How do you feel about giving mime costuming a shot?
I don't see why not. They might look good in heather gray terry cloth leotards. Yeah. I have some fabric swatches in my bag if you'd like to see.
Oh, sure thing, yeah.
Oh, wait. Freddie, is it a good idea to let Neil go to Yak Man's room?
We're just gonna be looking at some fabric.
Well, I suppose it would be safer if we all returned to our own rooms.
Oh, sure. There's nothing I'd rather do than spend some more time in my cramped little room.
All right, then. Come on, kids.
And don't forget to lock your doors.
Mr. Franklin, I really should get back to the kitchen.
Connie, would you mind helping Beatrice? If we have to be out of our rooms, I think it's safer if we stay in pairs.
Yes, Mr. Franklin. Stupid.
Hey, Freddie, can I talk to you for a minute?
I guess so.
I still have not been able to locate the whereabouts of my missing knitting needle. Is there anyone staying here who strikes you as a knitting needle thief?
Lily, maybe you should try.
It's Lola, sweetie.
Lola, then. How can you be so concerned about knitting right now when 3 people have been murdered?
I'm not concerned about knitting. I'm concerned about the needle. Think about it. A knife was stolen from the kitchen and ended up in Miss Wilcox's back. Then the Michael sister's gun was stolen from the cabinet and used to murder Rachel. And just before supper, Stefan was found in a bathtub with Neil's missing laptop.
Well, I don't see what this has to do with your needle.
Well, I think the murderer might use my needle to murder his or her next victim.
A knitting needle through the throat could sure do some damage.
Wait, so you think your needle is a clue?
It could be.
I never thought of that. Thanks for letting us know. Now, why don't you go back to your room? I'm starting to get dizzy.
Yeah, why don't you go back to your room?
Okay, but let me know if you find it, would you?
Lola brings up a good point.
I hate to admit it, but she's right. There's a good chance that her missing knitting needle could end up being the next murder weapon if we can't solve this.
Do you really think the murderer will come after you next?
It makes sense, doesn't it? All the victims have been members of my family. There's no better opportunity to murder an entire family than at a family reunion.
We shouldn't let the other guests know that we figured out a connection between the suspects. From now on, any new clues stay between us.
Oh, Freddie, you're acting more and more like a real detective every minute. What do we do now?
I don't know, but I won't let anything happen to you. I'd hate to see my wife impaled by a knitting needle. What would that make you, Shishka bride?
Stop everything! Found the murderer!
What's going on?
Get off of me!
Hold this down down. Look, when I found this Yankee Yak suitcase, I can open it. These things are so confusing, well, I never used them. Upside down.
It looks like a bunch of weapons.
What's the meaning of this? Yak man.
Get her off of me and I can explain.
Rondame.
Thank you.
Why do you have a suitcase full of weapons?
This is a supersonic blaster. And this is a deadly destroyer. They're harmless.
Well, how can they be harmless?
They're just prop weapons to go along with my uniforms. Watch.
No, the pain! Oh, I guess they really are harmless.
I told you. Why would I bring real weapons on a relaxing stay at a bed and breakfast? I'm no murderer.
Well, how we supposed to know their weapons are fake? They look pretty real to me.
How did you find those prop weapons anyway?
These two creatures came sneaking into my room. That one sat on me, and that one went through all of my stuff.
And why did you do that?
Well, you don't expect us to just sit around and let a murderer run around this place, do you?
We decided to take matters into our own hands and try to find him ourselves.
Who knows what kind of evidence we could find if we searched all the rooms?
How did you even get into Yak Man's room? I told you all to lock your doors.
The door was locked.
What, you think I can't break a lock?
You know, maybe we'll find some real evidence in the next room we search.
Oh no, I think you should return to your rooms. Your own rooms.
I don't think the guests would appreciate you going through their things.
They most certainly would not. Now, can you get your hands off of my uniforms? They take a long time to sew.
Say, what's this plastic wrap for?
That is in case one of my uniforms needs an invisible cloak.
Well, here you go then.
Thank you.
Now that everything is settled, you should return to your rooms. Remember, there is a murderer with real weapons staying here.
Freddie, I need to talk to you.
We've got a problem here, Sherlock.
Wait, Neil. How did you get into the kitchen? You didn't come through here.
Well, we went into the kitchen through the dining room.
What were you doing in the dining room in the first place? I told all of you to stay in your rooms.
Well, Mickey, Max, and Murphy were getting hungry and wanted a snack, so we went to see if we could find any leftovers, but everything was already all cleaned up.
We just finished supper.
What can I say? The mimes get hungry.
These four were spying on us.
We were doing nothing of the sort. We simply overheard a conversation. A very interesting conversation that I think will be very useful to your investigation, Freddie.
Oh dear. Don't believe a word he says.
Beatrice, please. Go on, Neil.
Well, as we entered the dining room, I heard that Beatrice and Connie were having a very heated conversation. So I put my ear up to the door to see if I could figure out what was going on. And that's when I heard Connie tell Beatrice that Mrs. Wilcox was the nastiest woman she's ever worked for.
Well, it's true. This is my first day on the job, and you should have seen the way Miss Wilcox treated me.
I only met the woman for a few moments, but she seemed like one of the sweetest old ladies I've ever come across.
You were never under her thumb.
As we entered the kitchen, Beatrice said, and I quote, "The old windbag got her just desserts."
Oh dear. It's true. I said it.
You see, Freddie, it's clear that one of these two murdered Mrs. Wilcox, and perhaps even the others. Maybe they're even in on it together.
I am not a murderer, and neither am I. I would never murder anyone. I was just simply venting my frustrations about my employer. I'd like to see what your little minions have to say about you when you're not around.
How do we know that Beatrice and Connie are telling the truth?
I've been working at Wilcox Western Bed and Breakfast for almost 20 years. If I really wanted to murder her, why would I have waited so long?
She has a point.
Maybe tonight you snapped. You did tell Joel there's only so much you can take.
Well, why were the four of you in the kitchen anyways? There are four of you in four separate rooms. If the mimes were hungry, why did you have to come along?
Mickey, Max, and Murphy don't speak. They need me to translate their actions into words.
A likely story. Oh, dear.
It does no good to stand here and blame one another. Now, Neil and the mimes, go back to your rooms and stay put this time.
We'll go back to the kitchen. Hopefully nobody decides to spy on us.
Come on, kids.
Come on, Connie. Stupid.
Hopefully that's the last interruption.
Freddie,
Now what?
this is urgent. I was sitting in my room trying to get some reading done in peace and quiet. I had to move from the lumpy chair by the bed to the even lumpier chair next to the window. The chair by the window looked a lot softer than the chair by the bed, but let me tell you, looks can be deceiving. I will have to mention that in my review.
Joel, you said this was urgent.
Yeah, sorry. Anyway, when I was sitting in a lumpy chair by the window, I noticed I could faintly hear voices coming out of Robert's room. His room is right next to mine, you see, and I can hear the voices through the vent by the window.
Was Robert talking about the murders?
I'm not sure. I couldn't make out any words, only voices.
What's so urgent about that?
Notice how I said voices, plural? Someone was in the room with him.
Who?
Well, I don't know. It sounded like a woman, but we know it can't be his wife.
Why not?
Because she's in the freezer, Freddie.
Incident with the rifle, sweetie.
Oh, right. Interesting observation, Joel. What do I do?
Go to Robert's room to see who he has in his room with him. Okay.
Good idea.
I don't like the situation, not one bit, Christine.
I'm sure there's a logical explanation for why Robert has someone in his room with him.
There's been nothing logical going around in this place all evening.
Look who I found in Robert's room.
Suzanne?
Oh, you wanted to see us, darlings.
What were you doing in Robert's room?
Well, I
No,
was
I got
only...
this. It's none of your business what she was doing in my room.
You were told to stay in your own rooms.
Do you not notice anything suspicious about this?
There's nothing suspicious about the two of us having a little discussion, darling.
There's nothing suspicious about two people whose spouses have just been murdered getting together for a secret conversation?
No. I don't think so.
I'll bet a murderous plan was in the works.
That sounds like an accusation.
It is an accusation.
How dare you accuse me of murder?
You wouldn't be accused of anything if you had just stayed in your rooms like you were told to.
Doesn't anyone just listen to directions anymore?
Whoa! What are you doing with that 2x4?
Freddie, I didn't mean to startle you. I'm here on business.
Oh my god.
Business?
Yes. I was in my room with nothing to do on account of my missing knitting needle, and it struck me like lightning. I should be your assistant.
Freddie already has an assistant.
Who?
Me!
Oh.
The girl is carrying a giant board.
Well, it's for protection, of course. You don't think I'm gonna let the murderer murder me with my own knitting needle, do you?
It wouldn't bother me.
Oh. I'd whack that murderer right in the head before he even got the chance.
That's it! We can't have people in and out of their rooms like this, and carrying weapons no less. Someone is going to get hurt.
Or murdered!
Suzanne and Robert, gather all of the guests and bring them out here. We need to have a bed and breakfast meeting.
Hold it. Stefan, you haven't met our friends, have you? They're helping us help Freddie.
Hello, everyone.
We need to figure out who the murderer is before anyone else as well murdered. It's crowded enough in the freezer with the three of us. I can't imagine trying to fit another body.
Yeah. Well, what's going on now?
He has a...
She certainly does have a board. That's quite suspicious.
Okay, let's...
Anything else going on? They're about to have a meeting. Let's see what they're going to discuss, shall we? Resume.
Connie, Beatrice, could you come out here, please?
What's the meaning of this? A bed and breakfast meeting?
Take a seat, Neil.
I haven't been in any more rooms, I swear it.
Thank you. I called all of you out here to discuss something very important. After supper, you were told to return to your rooms and stay put. And none of you listened.
Well, some of us were dragged here against our will.
Some of us thought we had reason to drag others out against their will.
I know you all had your reasons, but you need to realize that 3 people have been murdered here, and we don't know if the murderer will strike again.
And the murderer is someone in this room.
You ask me? I think it's Connie or Beatrice or maybe even both. We overheard them talking in the kitchen. and
Yes, I know. Some of you have your suspicions. I think what we need to do is air those out. Who knows? It might even help Freddie figure out who the murderer is.
That is a good idea.
Can I start?
You may have the floor, Joel.
As I already told Freddie and Christine, I overheard Suzanne having a conversation with Robert in his room.
There's nothing suspicious about the two of us having a little discussion.
Well, you were told to stay in your own rooms.
Yeah, sounds mighty suspicious to me. Did anyone ever think those two were the murderers together? Isn't it funny that shortly after her husband was found fiddling with another woman, he winds up dead?
want to know the truth. Stefan and I weren't even a couple anymore.
Is she telling the truth?
Oh, don't look so shocked, everyone. Stefan and I were married for business purposes only. We act together as a pair. We needed each other in order for our careers to survive. I wasn't angry when I found him with Connie. He was only my husband. Did you think I was in love with him?
You seem not angry to me.
It's called acting. Stefan has dated plenty of women over the years, and I have dated plenty of men. Our relationship was purely for show. Sure, our marriage started with love and affection, but the love was gone a long time ago. Since we had already established ourselves as husband and wife and acting duo, by the time our marriage crumbled, we decided to remain together. You can't very well keep the slogan, partners on stage and off, if the audiences don't believe you're a couple.
So then, why were you in Robert's room? Oh, are you with Robert now?
No.
Fred.
Let's remember we're here on a family reunion. Suzanne's my cousin. Well, she's my wife's cousin's wife. I guess that makes us cousins-in-law.
I was in Robert's room consoling him. His wife has just been murdered after all.
Sounds as fishy as a two-tone pile of crab cakes.
Maybe it does, but it's the truth.
If the two of you were having an affair, you'd be free of plenty of burdens with your spouses out of the way.
We are not having an affair. And even if we were, why would we want Aunt Gretchen dead?
If anyone wanted Aunt Gretchen dead, it was those two. We overheard them talking in the kitchen. They said the old lady deserved to get murdered.
Oh, really now?
Even if I said she got what she deserved, I don't remember saying I was the one who gave it to her.
That's right.
It's perfectly possible to dislike a woman without murdering her.
That's right.
Sure, I may have spit in her morning coffee a couple of times, but that's it.
That's right. I know you were up to something, Miss Googlehammer.
Maybe, after years and years of considering murder, Beatrice here finally decided it was time to get rid of Gretchen Wilcox once and for all.
Why wouldn't I have just found another job if I disliked Mrs. Wilcox that much? Sure, the old lady may not have been my favorite person, but I'm no murderer.
And why would we murder Dr. Shanklin and Mr. Livingston? Neither of us had a problem with either of them.
Stefan had a problem with Joel. His reviews of him in Theater Monthly were downright horrible.
They certainly were!
Wouldn't that make Stefan want to murder me, as opposed to me wanting to murder Stefan?
Not necessarily. Why don't you tell everyone why you're no longer a theater critic?
I just wanted a career change.
Are you forgetting that we also work in the entertainment industry, Joel? We hear the gossip. The real reason you're no longer a theater critic is because you were fired, tossed out on your behind without a see you later. Too many of the plays you were tearing apart in your columns went on to become great hits. Your opinion in the theater community was no longer valued.
I don't see what that has to do with anything.
Maybe you wanted revenge for being let go from your job. Perhaps you blamed the success of actors like Stefan for your failure.
Okay. Then why would I murder Gretchen and Rachel? If you ask me, it's the four of you who look the most suspicious here.
Mickey, Max, and Murphy have been looking for food.
Oh.
How much food can mimes eat anyway? It would make perfect sense if one of you was the murderer. You've been in and out of the kitchen with access to knives, and who knows where else you've been lurking around when nobody's looking. You were spying on me and Connie. Maybe you were spying on other guests as well, waiting for the perfect opportunity to commit murder.
And what was our motive?
Give me time. I'll come up with something.
Well, if you think sneaking around is suspicious, you should talk to these two. They came barging into my room a few minutes ago and went through all of my stuff. They could have easily been snooping in other people's rooms too. Sounds like a good way to come across some murder weapons to me.
We weren't snooping to steal, we were snooping to protect.
Oh, so you claim.
Yeah, why would we want to commit murder? That's easy. One of you murdered Miss Wilcox as revenge for locking up your gun.
Yeah.
We wouldn't stoop so low as to murder over that.
I mean, you were pretty upset when your right to bear arms was violated. But you were also quite upset about something too, Lola.
That's right. Rachel was wearing an animal skin, and that made you angrier than a bull.
I am against killing animals, and that includes humans, even those who wear animal skins.
Now, we're all pointing fingers here, but no one has mentioned the fact that yak man. Over there is looking very suspicious.
How do I look suspicious?
Well, you read all those comic books filled with violence. You must know an awful lot how to murder somebody.
Only if it's with techno laser beams or supersonic force. I know nothing about real weapons like guns or knives or electricity.
Well, you seem like the perfect murder suspect to me. You wear a variety of costumes.
Uniforms!
And you become different comic book characters. How do we know that one of them is the murderer?
Because I only play the heroes in the comic books. That's it.
Well, then maybe you want to become the ultimate villain. No, I mean, a murderer could very easily be hiding underneath all your uniforms. Heck, we don't even know your real name.
To be honest, neither do I. I've been living as so many different comic book characters over the years, I don't even remember my real name. I think it's Jacobs? Yeah, something Jacobs.
You can't honestly expect us to believe you don't even remember your own name.
Well, it's true, and if you're gonna point the finger at me, just because no one else is, then why not point the finger at the two people who haven't been accused yet? Freddie and Christine!
Us?
How come the two of you get to run the show while the rest of us sit back and accuse one another?
It couldn't be us. Why would it be us?
That does seem awfully suspicious. The two of you sent us to our rooms while you guys had free reign all over this bed and breakfast.
Yeah.
I would never, and Fuzzy Wuzzy Freddy's too sweet to hurt a fly.
This is ridiculous. When Aunt Gretchen, Rachel, and Stefan were murdered, Christine and I were both in this room.
That's right. They were both in here when Aunt Gretchen was stabbed in the hallway. So it's impossible for them to have murdered her.
And they were right here when Rachel was shot, because then there couldn't have been either of them who shoved past Connie and Stefan in the hallway.
Freddie and Christine are also in here when the power went out, so they couldn't have murdered Stefan either.
It couldn't have been us, but it could have been any of you. Some of you had the motive, some of you had the opportunity. Freddie, what you need to figure out is who had both, the motive and the opportunity.
Yes, but I don't know how to do that.
Hold it. This guy needs our help.
Well, in the murder mysteries that I've always been in, there's always a scene where the detective questions the suspects.
But this bonehead doesn't have a clue what he's doing. He'll never know what questions to ask.
What if we help him?
Good idea. It'll be like a game, and you know how I feel about games. I have a notebook around here somewhere. We'll get our lovely friends to help us come up with some questions that we think Freddie should ask the suspects.
You mean we're going to go meddling from beyond the grave?
We've been doing it all night, Mom.
It's fun. I'll jot down the questions. Have you seen ready? We field notes.
Perfect.
Oh, and what do you want me to do, Aunt Gretchen?
Oh, Stefan, you just stand there and look pretty like you always do. I'll handle these folks. Now, do any of you have a question that you think Freddie should ask the suspects?
What's 2 plus 2?
What is 2 plus 2? Mighty fine question. Yes.
Is Freddie acting stupid to cover up his own crimes?
Oh, is Freddie acting stupid to cover up his own crimes? He is quite stupid, yes.
Why does Yak Man have a backpack on?
Great question. Why does Yak Man have a backpack on? Any other question? Yes, right here. Okay, ask everyone to check their pockets for an orange pen. Yes.
Okay, how long has Joel had feelings about Beatrice the cook? Because he said everything else is evil and ugly as a book review, but when he ate the food and didn't like it, he said he was not going to put that in his review.
What was that question again? I'm excited about the other stuff, I forgot the actual question. All right, anything else? Yes.
Who has access to every room?
With keys.
Who has the keys to every room?
Great question.
Yes?
So my sister said she could unlock any lock. That means she could unlock the tab of her gun.
Very interesting. According to the Michael sisters, they can unlock any lock. Could they have gotten into the cabinet to get their rifle? Yes.
Why does that Yakman say he has no real weapons when the horns on his costume look like weapons?
Why does the X-Man say he has no weapons when the horns on his hat look like real weapons? Very good question. Alrighty, I think that's enough for now. Did you get all those, Rachel? Almost? Yes. Perfect.
But how are we gonna get free to ask those questions?
Oh, that's easy. Just take his hand and put the book in it. There we go. All right. Resume.
What's this?
Oh, they look like interrogation questions. Oh, did you come up with these all by yourself?
Well, I...
You say you don't know what you're doing, but you know exactly what you're doing, my little Sherlock Holmes.
Yeah, thanks. All right, let's see. This first question seems pretty generic. I think just about any of us could answer this. What's 2 plus 2?
6!
No, I think she's right.
I don't know.
Okay, let's move on. We know the answer to that one. This next one is something you can answer, but is Freddy acting stupid to cover up crimes?
Freddie, you've been stupid through our whole relationship.
I knew that as soon as I proposed. Yakman, what's in that backpack? Why do you have it?
This backpack carries all of my weapons, prop weapons. Sorry. This backpack carries all of the weapons I use to fight off the people who threaten the Himalayans, obviously.
How many weapons you got in there?
3 prop weapons, okay? Just 3.
You should have props.
Isn't that so props?
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, they must be some big weapons in there.
Yeah.
Why did you specifically say 3 prop weapons? You got some real weapons in there?
Yeah.
Listen, there's 3 prop weapons that I use to fight off the people who threaten the Himalayas.
Maybe next time we should check your backpack.
What does a yak have to do with a backpack? What does a yak
What
need
does
a
that mean?
backpack?
Okay, hold on. I don't think yak packs have anything to do with the murders. Okay?
Yeah, that's a good point.
I'm going to ask all of you to do something for me real quick though. Everyone check your pockets, make sure you're not carrying an orange pen.
I have no pockets.
What's a pen? What's a pen? Nobody gonna tell me what a pen
It's
is?
what you use to write.
You got one right there.
Is that